Why don't you start? We'll start with Lisa Riley Roche.
Hello, Lisa Riley Roche.
Hi, Congressman. Just wondering if you expected quite the level of contention that we heard tonight. You were challenged on a number of issues by your opponent. What did you think of the tone of the debate?
Well, it didn't surprise me because several months ago we reached out to him and asked him to sign a civility pledge, and he declined to do that, which I found very odd. People that know him say he's an extremely nice guy. Really hadn't seen, much in the campaign along those lines, but there was clearly a reason he didn't want to sign that pledge.
How do you feel you did in response to some of the issues that he brought up with some of your votes and some of your stand? Yeah,
it was clear to me that he just doesn't understand the way that Washington works, or he chose not to understand. And everybody knows the number of bills that are passed that have maybe one good thing in it and 10 bad things, or vice versa. And, one of the favorite campaign techniques is to cherry pick those and pick something out of them. And really, that's all that was happening tonight. And I've been there 3 years. I know how it works, so it really wasn't that troubling to me.
Other questions?
Congressman, this is an overwhelmingly Republican district, so, what are you doing in the last few weeks, or are you just kind of coasting?
Well, I would tell you, if you saw my schedule for this week, you wouldn't call it coasting. And by the way, do you want me here at this?
Whatever you feel, whatever you're comfortable.
Okay. I left Sunday and went down to San Juan County, and we came back just a couple hours before the debate. And you'll see me continue to run hard. I think I like to define campaigning as working in the district and working for the district, and not necessarily, pounding in signs. You probably have all been bombarded. I know my wife won't even listen to the radio because of the ads that we have on the radio. And so we'll continue to work hard like we always have.
You said earlier that there's a lot of good happening, but the media shows the bad as to how this is going in politics and with government. What do you want your constituent and those out there to hear from you in regard to the current state of politics?
And first of all, thank you for this opportunity to clarify. I actually believe there's a couple of national networks that are problematic, and I really hope I didn't mean to imply our local media. As a matter of fact, when people ask me what news they should listen to, I list, something like the Wall Street Journal, and then I tell them your local news. If you're not hearing it here, it's probably not real news. And so I do think that's important. And, I launched into something that wasn't your question. I apologize. I can't even remember your question. Was
just when you did make mention earlier, you said there's a lot of bad that's shown, but there's a lot of good happening. So how do you want to define that?
Unfortunately, if you go back to Washington, D.C., and you're willing to pound your chest and call out somebody as bad on the other side, you get on TV. But my colleagues who quietly go about working with each other and working across the aisle don't make news. That doesn't make news. And I just hope people know that a lot more of that takes place than they get to see.
Just a follow-up question. One of the most contentious parts of the debate was about the Affordable Care Act, and I'm just interested to know, so much of that debate is on party lines, but where do you come down on what type of changes or tweaks you would want to that law?
Yeah, so let me first clarify what really bothers me about the argument, and that is this incessant comment and claim by the Democrats that Republicans don't want to protect pre-existing conditions. And they use as evidence of that we don't like the Affordable Care Act. And because pre-existing conditions are part of the Affordable Care Act, they make this tremendous leap that all of us want to do away with it. And that's what really angers me. And I really find it quite offensive. And I think, quite frankly, it's not truthful. I think it's deceptive to use that. Now, as I mentioned, the Affordable Care Act is only part of what it was when President Obama put it into place. And there have been a number of meaningful changes. And I really think what needs to happen is that Republicans and Democrats need to work together, because you're really not going to get much passed unless it is bipartisan, and make meaningful changes to that. And I mentioned HSAs really is, to me, a really low-hanging fruit of where we could very easily save taxpayers money on their health care.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Seriously, that's it?
Yeah.
Okay, saved all the tough ones. Thank you all very much. It's great to be with you tonight.